approach that's probably going to be more effective are the other bills that you don't like as much. So if we take the approach where we say we like the really hardcore bills that ban them and criminalize them and let the other ones die, I think it's going to be counterproductive to your effort, then you're going to end up with nothing passing. I don't know if any of them will pass anyway, but I think there's probably a better chance of the more incremental approach passing. So it may make more sense just to say that we like all of these bills to some extent. We want to do something about the problem and authorize the chair to testify on potentially or any or all of these bills. A lot to me is going to depend on what bill actually gets heard anyway, right? And because it is still early in the session, we haven't fully tracked which bills are coming up for hearing or not. So that would be my 2 cents worth.
Can I answer that?
That's a little extreme, yeah.
Maybe Joanne is right. We should, in a category, say we'll support anything that is against noise, or we'll support anything that is against YO scooters, and then those of us on the neighborhood board can choose which ones we support.
Yeah, I think that probably a little bit of flexibility is going to make more sense. Other members agree?
Yeah, we need more flexibility to not be really extreme with the specifics in most of the bills, because you're right, we're at risk of losing a chance to pass some of these.
Right. Right. Mike, do you want to say something? Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, just about the format. You did a good job of putting things into categories: leaf blowers, mufflers, backup beepers. So can we just move along? And I have some of this pre-written. We're going to take a block vote on leaf blowers, right? Take a block vote on mufflers. Is that your idea?
That would be.
I think that would.
I'm good with that. If everybody else is good with that, I think the chair wanted to say something as well.
I would appreciate it if when Senator Pelletier calls or Representative Browers and Ishimoto says, hey, I need the board's support on this bill or whatever on noise, I'd like to have your backing on it to be able to go in, no matter which the bill is, if we've identified it here. If we don't identify it, then I have to go in and say, I'm the chairman of the board, but we didn't vote on this.
I think that makes sense.
It cuts back on our ability.
It gives us more, again, it's more flexibility. If we're saying that we're open to any of those potential solutions, then if one of them gets heard as opposed to the other, I think Bob's making a good point. Then at least we can say, hey, we have gone on record supporting it, and we're ready to go with it. Yeah.
And I agree with Mike's position. We should vote in blocks on these.
Okay.
Because you've done your homework. We all support these things for years and years.
Yeah, I pretty much, at least in terms of this page, these are things that we have either seen before, or especially as you go down the list in terms of the backup beepers, the car alarms, the boom boxes, and things like that. These are not really new issues. The only thing that's new, I think, is that thing at the end about the DBA versus DBC, and I'm not sure I really know what the heck that means either, Mark. So maybe you might know better than I would, so I put that in there. Helen.
House Bill 1322 pretty well covers it all, but also we could kind of prioritize which ones that we favor the most. Give them a number.
You can. I mean, again, my experience with the noise issue is that I think you're happy and lucky to get whatever heard that you can get heard, because a lot of times these noise bills have had difficulties. So you can prioritize, but on the other hand, if one of your lower priority bills is going to get scheduled, you may still want to at least send in testimony on that. So I think I kind of agree with Bob that we should certainly at least, if you want to go on record, I think that's probably the key thing to do, and then we can certainly prioritize as everybody does to some extent.
Well, I would just like to say I agree with you wholeheartedly that the more these laws are less penalty driven and more setting code, I would agree. I would just propose, just throw this out there, that we're in favor of anything that reduces the noise with a preference for Senate Bill 466. Because again, any of them, I'm in favor of all these, and I have full confidence in the committee that's going to review these, but that may at least provide a little bit of, we're in favor of all of them with a slight preference, because this is a less penalty-driven type code.
Joanne?
The only one, based on your summaries, because I have not read the bills, is I have trouble with criminalizing a leaf blower operator. Just to me, that's a bit extreme to think that the person could end up in an orange jumpsuit over leaf blowing. And I don't put it in the, to me, I just don't put it in the same conduct of disorderly conduct.
Well, I think it's disorderly conduct, which is it's a low-level crime, if that makes you feel any better. I don't know, but, okay. Mark, you want to respond?
It puts maliciously using a leaf blower during those hours as something that is also defined as disorderly conduct. If you go out and you yell at your neighbor at all hours of the night, that's disorderly conduct. If you use your leaf blower to antagonize your neighbor, that's disorderly conduct. If a policeman asks you, or a neighbor, if a policeman asks you to desist using the leaf blower and you continue to do it, that's disorderly conduct.
Right. I don't think people don't generally go to jail for disorderly conduct either. Right? So it may just be a lever in a club that as an enforcement tool. I understand what you're saying, but that would be the other side of the argument. Right. So, well, I would move that we support all the bills in the leaf blowers with a preference for the non-criminal and non-banning approach. Would that make sense? Then, would that be a reasonable position in that category, so that Senate Bill 597 and House Bill 64, which are the criminal issues, and then House Bill 1421 that ban them, that we might support all of them, but we might indicate some preference for the other bills that really specify sound and levels and have the health department adopt rules. Does that sound reasonable? Okay, that's the motion then.
Okay.
Okay.
I will speak against the motion. I don't see any reason why we should eliminate 1421, because we're not making an exception of that because we don't agree with it. We're making an exception of it because we don't think it'll pass. I think we would fully support it if we thought it would pass, and so I'd include it.
I'm not eliminating it. I'm saying that we might express a preference for the other approach. We're supporting. The motion is to support all of those proposals, including 1421. The motion is to support that, but perhaps indicate that we might have some preference for the ones that seek to regulate rather than ban or criminalize. David?
I want to caution the board that not all the leaf blower make noises. If it's the one that you hook up with your electricity, there's no noise. Only the gas blower has noise.
Well, see, I think that's why the idea would be to have the Department of Health adopt some sort of decibel level as to what is acceptable noise versus what is not. Right, that's 1322, and House Bill 642 would be the deal which would determine it, and then Senate Bill 466 would actually, I believe, actually specifies particular decibel levels right in the bill. So that would be the motion. Anybody want to second it? Okay, Les? Wait a second. Okay, all in favor? Raise your hands. Okay, the motion is to support all the bills in that section. But we can indicate for the record, if we want, or amongst us, or in the event there's any testimony comes up, that our preference would be for the approach that really regulates leaf blowers as opposed to the approach that either criminalizes it or bans it. Okay?
For the record, can I do a roll call?
You want to do roll call instead of just hand?
That would be minutes. I need a yes, no, or abstain. Joanne Adams. Les Among. Jeff Apaka's left. Helen Carroll. David Chen. Lou Erdachek.
Yes.
Ray Gruntz. Robert Martin. Jeff Mers. Richard. Sorry. Mike Peters. Thank you. Jim Poole? No. Mary Simpson? Abstain. Mark Smith?
No.
Chair votes yes.